Hello, sports fans. It is Monday, February the 2nd, year 2015. And as always, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Great to be back with you guys as we had an absolutely wild and woolly Super Bowl from Arizona where the New England Patriots hang on and beat the Seattle Seahawks 28-24. An absolute thriller, a crazy ending. We're going to get to it all right now. Let's recap the game. We have a lot to cover, especially the ending of this game. First quarter, not much going on in the first quarter. The first quarter, first of all, flew by. New England did have one nice drive going, but Brady threw a terrible pass over the middle that was picked off. That cost New England 3 points. So at the end of the first quarter, it's 0-0, not much going on. Second quarter, New England has another nice drive, and this time they finish it. Brady to LaFell, New England goes up 7-0. Then Seattle ties the game. Wilson hits Matthews down the sidelines for 44 yards. That gets him down to the New England 11. And Lynch takes it in from there to make it 7-7. I'll tell you, this Matthews for Seattle didn't catch a pass all year. Was working at Foot Locker. And here he is making big plays in the Super Bowl. That's why we love sports. End of the first half, Brady to Gronkowski. New England goes up 14-7. Seattle had a bad offsides penalty. They kept that drive going. So you're sitting there going, New England is up 14-7. There's 31 seconds left in the half. You figured New England had the better of the play in the first half. They're going to have a nice 7-point lead. You know, you like the position New England is in. What happens? Seattle goes 80 yards in 29 seconds at the end of the first half to tie the game at 14. Wilson to Matthews again. Give Pete Carroll credit for going for it there. A lot of people would have kicked a field goal with just 6 seconds left. Pete Carroll decided to go for it. It paid off, so they tie the game at 14. I thought New England's defense on that drive was absolutely atrocious. They gave up a 20-yard run to the backup running back on first down. Then they let Wilson scoop down the sidelines for another 20 yards. Then Seattle hits a big pass. New England gets a face mask penalty, gets the ball down to the 10. And then they let Wilson hit Matthews again. I didn't like the defense on that play. And you're sitting there at halftime going, New England has had the better of the play here. You look up and it's 14-14, and you're like, wow, I don't like what I see here now as far as the New England side. I mean, Seattle didn't play all that well. New England kind of had the better of the play, and it's 14-14. To me, that was kind of an ominous sign for New England. All right, so we go to the third quarter. Seattle drives right down the field on their first possession. They do get stopped. They do settle for a field goal. Seattle is up 17-14. Then Brady throws his second interception. Then Wilson to Baldwin. And then it's 24-14 Seattle. Revis got picked off on that play by the official of all things. So it's 24-14 Seattle. And on Seattle's last 4 drives, they have a touchdown, field goal, and touchdown. That's the way Seattle plays on offense. They don't do much for long stretches of periods and games. And then all of a sudden they hit you with a big run. They're kind of like a team in basketball that just goes on like a 20-point spurt all of a sudden. So Seattle hits you with these spurts. They're great at that long pass down the field. Wilson throws a nice long ball. And you're sitting there going, all right, it's the third quarter, and Seattle is now up 24-14. You're like, wow, did New England lose their chance to win this game in the first half when they blew a lot of opportunities? 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. This was a huge play in the game. Seattle has a 3rd and 2 from the New England 47, up 10 points. Wilson throws another deep ball to Kearse. Tough catch, but Kearse could have caught it. It was a perfect throw right in his hands. He drops the ball. That was a huge play in the game. Seattle is up 10 points at that stage. They're going to get at least 3 more points there, maybe a touchdown, maybe put the game away. Kearse drops the ball. Seattle has to punt the ball away. We go to the fourth. New England punts the ball again. New England's offense early in the second half is doing nothing. Seattle's getting all sorts of pressure on Brady. New England looks lost. All the momentum is on Seattle's side. But New England starts to stiffen on defense. They get a big sack that forces Seattle to punt the ball. Then Brady to Amendola with 8 minutes to go makes it 24-21. New England's right back in the game. Seattle punts again. All of a sudden, Seattle can't get anything going. And then New England scores again. Brady to Edelman. Edelman was huge in this game. New England goes up 28-24 with 2:02 left in the game. New England made so many big plays on that drive. So here we are with 2:02 to go. New England is up 28-24. Seattle gets the ball back. First play before the 2-minute warning. Wilson hits Lynch 31 yards down the sidelines. They're already down to the New England 49 at the 2-minute warning. Then Wilson hits a bomb to Kearse where he's juggling the ball, makes an acrobatic catch. He catches the ball, New England tackles him at the 5-yard line, and you're like, oh my goodness, Seattle is going to pull this game out. New England's going to be snake bit again. It's remember against the Giants, the David Tyree catch where he made that, unbelievable catch. This was that catch all over again with Kearse, and just an unbelievable juggling catch. So Seattle has a first down at the New England 5 with 1:06 to go. Lynch on first down runs 4 yards to the 1-yard line. So Seattle has a 2nd and 1. I thought New England right there was going to call timeout. New England had 2 timeouts left. I thought they were going to stop the clock right there, just in case Seattle scored. Maybe they'd have about 50 seconds or so to get back down the field and kick a field goal. I was shocked Belichick didn't call a timeout there. He's letting the clock run. I'm like, if Seattle scores here, New England's going to have no time to get down the field. It's going to come down to a goal line stand here. I couldn't believe Belichick didn't call a timeout there. And then what happens on 2nd and 1? Seattle, everyone thinks they're going to hand the ball to Lynch. I think it. New England thinks it. Half the crowd thinks it. What does Seattle do? They throw a pass over the middle. Wilson tries to hit Lockett, and Butler just makes an unbelievable play on the ball. Intercepts the ball, gets out of the end zone to the 1-yard line, and New England wins the game. They steal the game. Seattle goes offsides from there, which lets New England take a couple of knees, and New England escapes. This game was Seattle's for the taking. They have a 2nd and 1 with less than a minute to go, and they have Marshawn Lynch, and they decide to throw the ball. Terrible, despicable play calling by Seattle. I don't want to hear it, and I don't want to hear Pete Carroll after the game saying he didn't like the matchup with New England's goal line defense against, Marshawn Lynch. Please, come on, Pete Carroll. I know he's trying to defend his team and his coordinators. That is a terrible play call there. You can't throw the ball over the middle. The ball could get tipped. It could get deflected. Exactly what could have happened. It got picked off. It wasn't even a safe pass. A safe pass is maybe one of those fades, where only the receiver can get it, a jump ball, out of bounds or something. If you don't have it, just fire the ball out of bounds. You can't throw the ball over the middle there. And then Pete Carroll after the game, well, we didn't like the matchup. We were trying to waste a play and win it on 3rd and 4th down. Waste a play? This is the Super Bowl. You have 3 chances to get in or else you lose the Super Bowl. There's no time to be wasting plays. You have Marshawn Lynch who just almost got in on the play before that. You gotta run him there. How could you throw a pass over the middle? Too many things can happen there. And sure enough, it did, and give Butler all sorts of credit. This rookie from Western Alabama, who barely played this year, barely played in the playoffs, comes up with an absolutely huge play. You won't find a better defensive play all year, so give him all sorts of credit. But Seattle should never even put themselves in that position. Oh my goodness, if you are a Seattle Seahawks fan, you must be sick to your stomach. And I know you won it last year, but after losing this game, you've forgotten about last year already. This game is going to stick with you forever. This game is going to stick with you into next year. That's how bad of a loss this was. And give New England credit for rallying from 10 points down and making the big defensive play, and Brady making some big plays, and the receivers making big plays, and the defense stiffening after they gave up 3 touchdowns and a field goal right in a row there. Give New England all sorts of credit, but Seattle must be kicking themselves. You are 1 yard away from winning the Super Bowl, and you got 3 downs to do it, and you got one of the best backs in football, and he doesn't even touch the ball, and you throw an interception over the middle. Terrible play calling, and Pete Carroll's explanation was just as bad after the game. Well, we didn't like the matchup, and we wanted to waste a play there and win it on 3rd and 4th down. Waste a play. This is the Super Bowl. You're losing. You only have 3 chances to get it in. There's no time to be wasting plays here, Pete. This isn't a preseason game. I know Pete Carroll was in a tough spot there, and he didn't want to throw his coordinators under the bus and all that, but come on, Pete Carroll is the coach. The buck stops with him. Terrible play calling and terrible explanation by Pete Carroll. And you're sitting there, if you're a Seahawks fan, sitting in the stands saying, what just happened? We were 1 yard away. We have the game totally in control. We're going to win this game. Belichick's not calling timeout. He's letting the clock basically run out, which was a terrible move on his part, but he got away with it. And the next thing you know, Seattle throws a pass and Butler picks it off and New England is taking a knee and winning the game. Unbelievable Houdini act by New England, kind of like the Houdini act Seattle pulled last week against Green Bay. This whole playoffs has been about Houdini acts. Dallas against Detroit, Green Bay against Dallas, New England against Baltimore, Seattle against Green Bay, New England against Seattle. All these Houdini acts in the playoffs. Unbelievable stuff yesterday. Give New England all sorts of credit for being resilient. They were down 10. They looked lifeless. They rallied. Their defense stiffened. Brady makes some big plays. The receivers did a great job. Give New England credit for being gutty at the goal line and making that big interception. But, oh my goodness, what a terrible loss for Seattle. Awful, atrocious play calling. And you must be sick to your stomach if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan. This one you will remember for the rest of your life. That's how bad of a loss this was. Brady, the MVP, 37 for 50, 328. He had 4 touchdown passes, did have 2 picks. I think he set a record for completions in this game. Edelman was absolutely huge. I could see him winning the MVP, to be perfectly honest with you. Gronkowski, his usual good game. Vereen good. Amendola, some big plays. LaFell, some big plays. I thought New England did a really nice job when they were down 10 points to rally back in the game. Defense really stepped up. Wilson didn't have a big game for Seattle. I mean, he only had 12 completions, but throws a nice deep ball. They have a lot of big completions, Seattle. I thought Lynch had a nice game. He's got to get the ball at the end. He just has to. Matthews played tremendous. A guy that hadn't caught a pass all year. I mean, he played tremendous. The Legion of Boom did not play well. First of all, they got all beat up. All sorts of injuries in the Seattle secondary, and it showed. Their defense looked worn down at the end of the game. Not the typical Seattle defense we're accustomed to seeing. New England was moving the ball at will in the fourth quarter. So give New England all sorts of credit for pulling this game out. Just an unbelievable job by them. New England now 4 Super Bowl championships. Brady 4 Super Bowl championships. Belichick 4 Super Bowl championships. And I don't want to get into the whole Deflategate and all that kind of stuff. I'll let the league handle that. If they want to take draft picks away from New England, so be it. I'll let the league handle that. I don't want to get into all that today. What a great job by New England in this game, being so resilient, down 10, rallying back against that Seattle defense, and then the goal line stand. But let's make no mistake about it. Seattle really blew it here at the end with their play calling. Now, there's no guarantee Lynch gets in on second down. Maybe he gets stopped. Maybe he fumbles. Who knows? You got to go with Lynch there. You have to go with Lynch there. And if you're going to throw a pass, throw like a fade, like where if the receiver can't catch it, it just goes out of bounds. You don't want to throw anything in the middle of the field with all those big bodies. You could get the ball tipped. Too many things can go wrong there. Just a terrible play call by Seattle, and an even worse explanation by Pete Carroll. And I love Seattle. I love what Pete Carroll has done. I love the fans. I love their personnel. They're one of the few teams in the league that plays defense consistently. I love Seattle. But this was a great, great Houdini act by the New England Patriots, and just terrible play calling by Seattle. This is one, if you're a Seahawks fan, that you will not get over for the rest of your life. Now, Seattle, they have a bright future. They have a young quarterback. They have a young team. They're going to be knocking on the door for years to come. But they must feel like they just gave this game away at the end. I mean, they had this game in the bag, and they totally blew it with terrible play calling. And like I said, I was shocked Belichick was not calling timeout with about a minute left there. He was letting the clock run down. If Seattle would have scored there, New England was going to have no time to get back down the field. I don't know why Belichick wasn't calling timeout there. Should have called it on first down right when Lynch got stopped at the 1. Even if Seattle scores on the next play, still about a minute to get down the field, only down 3. That's doable. He was going to have about 20 seconds left to get down the field. It was not going to happen, so I was shocked Belichick didn't call timeout. He got away with it. New England was gritty, gutty. They made the big goal line stand. They come back from 10 points down. They deserve to win. And Seattle, like I said, must be kicking themselves today. Them and their fans must be heartsick. I mean, I don't know how you get over something like that. And give New England all sorts of credit also. The way they started this season, what were they, 2-2? They lost to the Dolphins. They got bombed by the Chiefs. They barely beat Oakland. They didn't look like a championship team at all. They were playing Cincinnati. Remember that game against the Bengals? I think the Bengals were undefeated. Everyone thought the Bengals were going to slam New England, including me. And New England just laid it on Cincinnati. I mean, New England just laid it on them, and from that point on, New England was the best team in football without a doubt. They just were, especially in the AFC. And give Seattle credit, too. They were coming off a Super Bowl. They were struggling in the middle of the season, but they got hot right at the end. They pulled the game out against Green Bay, and they had this game won. I thought the play calling absolutely killed them. I mean, I know Pete Carroll is going to keep saying, you know, he didn't like the matchups, and, you know, he wanted to win the game on 3rd and 4th down. He's just covering his bases. There's no explanation for it. It was just a terrible, terrible play call by Seattle. So them and their fans have to be sick. They'll be sick all off season. Congratulations to New England Patriots and their great fans up there in Boston. How about Boston as far as winning all these titles in all these different sports? The Red Sox, who hadn't won in a million years, had 3 titles in like the last 10 years. New England now has their 4th title. The Bruins just won recently. The Celtics, we know about their great history. How about Boston and their sports team? Tremendous job by the city of Boston and their sports teams. Boston fans are some of the most passionate fans in all of the world. Congratulations to New England Patriots, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Deanna Kraft, and all those great New England Patriot fans up there in Massachusetts. Great job by you guys. You guys absolutely deserved it. As far as the halftime show, to me, the halftime show, I didn't love it all that much. I don't love Katy Perry, and the one song I do like from her, she didn't even sing, so I didn't care for the halftime show. I like Lenny Kravitz, but he only was on for about 30 seconds. I didn't understand that. I also didn't understand Missy Elliott being out there with Katy Perry. It was a strange mix to me. I would have liked to have more Lenny Kravitz, less Missy Elliott, and I don't love Katy Perry, but I would have liked her to sing the song that I do like, one of her big hits, and I forget the name of it, but she didn't even sing that song. So I didn't care for the halftime show, but to me, that's for the non-football fan. To me, the hardcore football fan, I don't need the long halftime show. I don't need all that nonsense. If they didn't have that long halftime show, this game would have sped by. This was a very fast Super Bowl, but that long halftime show, of course, delays the game. As far as the commercials, to me, the commercials have lost their luster as well. They used to be really funny and creative back in the day. Now they're not all that great. There's a couple that are cute, like, you know, the dog with the Clydesdales. There's a couple that are maybe funny, but they've kind of lost their luster. And I don't need to see any more Kim Kardashian or Britney Spears. I mean, I don't need to see any more of them. So to me, the commercials have lost their creativity. They've lost their luster. They're not even funny anymore. I mean, there's a couple that are cute. I get it. So the commercials in the halftime show, I didn't think were all that great. But to me, I can do without that stuff, you know, anyway. That's not for the real football fan. That's for the people that parachute in once a year to watch the Super Bowl. So what a wild, thrilling game. I thought it was going to be like this. I told you it was going to come right down to the end. I thought New England would pull it out. I never thought they'd pull it out this way. I mean, what a wacky, wacky ending. I cannot believe that New England picked off Wilson at the end of this game. And of all people, Butler does it at the 1-yard line. Butler. I mean, are you kidding me? A guy that barely played, and what a great play it was. And there was a collision there in that exchange. I thought he was going to drop the ball for a second, but he hung on to it. A lot of these cornerbacks and safeties, they don't have good hands. That's why they play corner and safety and not receiver. But he hung on to that ball. What a great read and a great play by Butler. That is one for the ages. That is a Super Bowl play for the ages. I almost thought they were going to give him the MVP just because of that great play. They love giving it to the quarterback. I'm not shocked they gave it to Brady. A bunch of guys could have won it on New England. I'll tell you, Edelman was huge as well. Gronkowski's always good. So New England had a bunch of guys that could have won it. So once again, congratulations to the New England Patriots and all their great fans up in Massachusetts. Okay, you guys are all caught up as far as the Super Bowl. Tomorrow, I will be back with you guys. We're going to finally get into some college basketball. I'm going to touch on the top 25 with you. We're going to get into some NHL hockey. We're just after the All-Star break with the NHL. We're going to get into some NBA as well as we're heading into the All-Star break for the NBA. February is kind of a quiet month in the sports world. Not a lot going on. So we'll get into some college basketball, get into some NBA, get into some NHL, anything else going on in the sports world. I'll do that tomorrow with you. Okay, you guys are all set. You guys are all caught up. Hope you guys caught that Super Bowl. It was a thriller. Once again, congratulations to New England and their great fans up there in Massachusetts. You guys, thanks for the support as always. You guys stay safe. Enjoy the games tonight. Watch a little college basketball tonight. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.